Hello and what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This is part 3 of the How to Beat Liquid
Oh,
at
Dire Team
TI7
Ban!
series. Again, if you're new to this series, this is going to be a series of replay analysis on every single game that Liquid played at TI throughout the group stages and the main event. Right
Oh
now,
man,
I'm
Rick,
taking
there's only
things more
10
chill
seconds
to
left to
get
pick
this
a
series
hero!
set up. At some point, I'll probably post this on
5
Reddit
seconds,
once we
Morty.
hit the
It'll
main
be
stage or
fine.
something like that. But for now, I'm just trying to get into the swing of things. I haven't done these replay analysis in a while, and I'm just trying to get used to them. So I'm sorry if it's not going to be the most quality analysis. There's going to be some mix-ups and whatever where
Woo,
I'm trying
Radiant
to go
Team
back and
Ban!
forth through the replay. But I hope you guys can just bear with it for now until I get a little bit better at doing this again. So right now, this is going to be the game 1 between Team Liquid and
Go,
Fnatic.
Dire
I
Team! Pick
already
'em up, pick
covered
'em out!
game 1 and game 2 between Liquid and IGV. They went 2-0 there. IGV came close, I would argue, in both games. Liquid definitely made a lot of mistakes. Not necessarily mistakes,
Come
just
on,
good plays
Radiant
from
Team, you gotta pick
IGV.
'em right!
But the thing
Disruptor.
about Liquid is, if both teams are making the equal amount of mistakes, Liquid just seems to be able to capitalize more, or both teams are making the equal amount of like good plays, smoke ganks or whatever. The Liquid plays that end up bring them ahead
10
usually
seconds to pick your
tend
hero,
to make them win
you're
the
on
game.
pick.
Fuck, I can't talk.
I speak for
Sorry
the
about that, guys.
trees.
So what I was trying to say is, like, teams can get like a good gank or something off of Team Liquid, and they'll like lose heroes or whatever. They'll lose a team fight. They'll get wiped, right? Sometimes they'll lose Roshan. Most oftentimes we see Liquid
You
actually
really gotta
they'll
pick a
hold
hero, you
on
got
to
10 seconds
Rosh
left.
and even be able to steal it from enemy teams. So
Yeah,
they're really good at the
5
Rosh
seconds
pit,
left now.
and they're really good at not losing the game off of like one bad fight. They like retreat well. They make sure that the fights that they lose and when they're out of position, it doesn't usually end up in them just straight up losing the game, which is a really strong thing to have. And if you notice there, the drafting screen was a little bit bugged. I'm a bit annoyed by that because if you go back and forth through the drafting phase in terms of rewinding
Come
and
on,
stuff like
Radiant Team,
that,
you gotta pick 'em
you
right!
end up
Foul warlord.
bugging the heroes and stuff like that. So I'm not going to do any of that as we're going to do the draft analysis here. There's not much to say about this draft actually because it's pretty simple, I have to say. Fortunately, we don't actually get to see the heroes here. This is annoying. Yeah, these heroes just don't show up, so we
You
don't know
really
what's
gotta pick
banned.
a hero, you
But
got
I'm
10
not even
seconds
going to
left.
comment on the bans right now just because of that. Um,
You better pick your
Looking at
hero,
Fnatic's
5
bans,
seconds!
they've done something that no other team has done in the first two. I'm only going to comment on that, is they banned out the Void and the Bat Rider, which doesn't really make sense to me at all. I don't know why they would do this. I guess they just wanted to play against Liquid's IO as a test. Um, I really don't know. I also done a replay analysis of this game before, so I actually will have more to say about it. Um, when I did it, it was focused on only GH's IO
Dire Team
perspective.
Ban!
So this time around, I'm going to
Listen,
cover
warrior.
the whole team and what Fnatic could have done better to deal with Team Liquid. And as of now, the draft is playing out definitely in Liquid's favor, in my opinion. They have the Nature's Prophet, one of Mind Control's
10
strongest heroes.
seconds
They
to
have
pick your
Io,
hero,
GH's
you
strongest hero. The
moron.
Wish Doctor is here simply for the extra
You
sustain
better pick
with the
your
Io.
hero,
He's going to
5
max out
seconds!
the heal. And now they picked a favorable lane for Matumba Man. Again, this is something that Liquid has done time and time again, is pick a solo lane for Matumba Man or just a hero where Matumba Man can do his own thing for like the first 10 minutes of the game or for 7 minutes, 6 minutes, or something like that, where they leave him alone in his own island, and he truly plays like the off-lane position in a lot of scenarios where you see him on like Ursa a lot of times, where you can get a favorable matchup there, and Ursa does really well against
Radiant Team
Underlord,
Ban!
heroes like Necrolite, and sometimes even the Weaver and Lycan. But in this game, he will get the Ursa, and now they'll have Roshan control, something that's really powerful with a hero like Io, who snowballs early and with an early lead and Aegis. If
Oh
they
man,
play it
Rick,
properly,
there's
they
only
can
10 seconds left to
end the
pick a
game
hero!
very fast. Underlord is
Yeah,
a hero that is
5 seconds
pretty good
left
at
now.
defending high ground if he can just like set up and spam his ability, Firestorm. But if he's getting dove by heroes like Ursa, there's not much he can do. He can like try to drop a Pit of Malice, but it will be pretty difficult for him to take a high ground fight with like an Aegis or something on Team Liquid. Uh, first Aegis, probably not the biggest problem, but second Aegis and Cheese, that's when they have to really watch out. As for the last picks here for Liquid, they just want to pick something mid for Miracle. I believe they do end up picking a Morphling here. Again, that's a really strong pusher. If that hero can get to your high ground early, combined with the sustain from Io and Witch Doctor, he'll hit the tower incredibly hard, and you can't really ignore him. And Fnatic only really has one shot of trying to kill the Morphling, right? They have to try to kill him in the Static Storm, and if he gets that second Aegis, or even first Aegis, I mean, how can they do anything to him, right? They can toss their abilities to kill him once, but he'll just come back. Even Io can relocate him out if need be, and maybe even save that first Aegis. So they're in huge trouble right now if Liquid get ahead at any point in this game. You think of Morphling as a late game hero, a split pushing hero, but he's actually incredibly strong as a mid game fighter, depending on the support that he has. And with the Io and Witch Doctor, he has all the sustain he needs to take these prolonged team fights, and he hits incredibly hard. He's pretty hard to kill with his replicant, his waveform,
10
and
seconds to pick
Fnatic,
your
I would
hero,
say,
you
are in trouble right now.
moron.
They need an early lead. They need an
5 seconds,
advantage
Morty.
to be able
It'll be
to
fine.
take this game. If this troll gets behind, I don't see how he can kill this Morphling. Static Storm is their only ability to lock him down at this point. Morphling does not care about Clockwork at all. The Pit of Malice does annoy him a little bit, but not too much, because he'll have the sustain there from the Io and the Witch Doctor, and with that he can usually just waveform out and just avoid the pit in general. Now, the last pick here for Fnatic really has to be geared towards dealing with this Morphling. If they don't have a way to deal with Miracle, and in addition, like the IO helping them out, they're just going to straight up lose the game. The laning stage, they can get a little bit of advantage or whatever. I do remember that they come back in this game a little bit, uh, past like the 10-minute mark or something like that, but they end up
Choose your
losing
hero.
another fight or something like that, and they just end up losing the game, and they'll pick a Queen of Pain here for QO. In theory, this hero used to be really good against IO dual lanes mid, because a lot of times people will be picking heroes like Tiny, and she's good against those type of heroes that are like melee and rely on like getting right in there. But even then, I've watched Team Liquid play Io Tiny against a Queen of Pain and completely destroy her. She's a squishy hero, easily burstable with the right ganks, and you cannot expect Liquid to not use those opportunities where QO will be vulnerable, because they trade incredibly well at level 1 in the early levels, level 1 and 2, and I don't see how QO will get much out of this lane. I can maybe see him get a couple kills here and there with potential gank from his supports, but I don't agree with Fnatic's last pick here. I mean, sure, eventually in the game she'll have her ultimate online, and they'll have that heavy burst they need to burst the Morphling, who tends to, play on pretty low HP, but in general, they need a stronger mid hero here. I'm not so sure what they could have picked, actually. I have to look at the
Oxygen-rich
heroes.
atmosphere, giant testicle monsters. We'll
I
be
honestly
fine.
I
Let's
think something
party!
like a TA would be better for QO. In this game specifically, combos well with the troll. It gives some rush control, can farm up really fast, because that's how you want to play against IO pretty much. Is you don't necessarily want to fight against them early, especially if it's an IO Witch Doctor. If they play properly, they're gonna win these early to mid game team fights. You just kind of want to out farm them. With the lineup that Liquid has, they don't have the best ganking potential, right? Their only stun is the Witch Doctor. They literally don't have any stun, so if Fnatic can just farm up, get super fat on a hero like TA, then they can have a better chance in this game. But with the Queen of Pain, I mean, sure, she can farm, but she also wants to fight, and she's very vulnerable trying to take fights against Liquid, because she can just easily get baited in there.
Get ready for the game to start in 30 seconds.
And I'm going to move to free cam right
I'm
now,
scared.
and let's get right into the replay analysis, right? So it will be a dual lane mid with GH and Miracle. These sounds are a little bit loud. I'm gonna lower our volume. So anyway, it will be mind control and offlane. Usually GH is here to help him out with like a Earthshaker or something with a stun. But this time around he's IO, so it's gonna be mind control left alone. And as a result, he'll have to feed his treants a little bit there. Usually he can actually get the rune or do a lot more harass, but because of the hero that GH is on, you don't manage to do that in this game. And he actually gets caught out here. If he does end up dying here, it's not the biggest deal, but I think he should be okay. I don't think he would have died from that disruptor auto attack, but it would have been a lot closer actually. So anyway, um, with what Liquid can do here in the mid lane is just trade, harass evenly with Q, right? They'll have GH trade a couple of hits, and then they'll have Miracle trade a couple of hits, and then they heal up together with the bottom charges and the Tango. And there's not much Febby can do at all here. He literally can do absolutely nothing. If he catches the IO, they can just have Miracle run back, or the creep wave can be coming, and GH can just tether to it. They can't kill IO like that, as long as they coordinate with each other properly. And level 1, they're a little bit weak, but Queen of Pain and Clock isn't really the best heroes to contest at level 1, so they're fine right now. Notice they're still trading harass evenly, and the bottom lane, what is Mattelman gonna do? He's gonna win this lane, because there's not much that Ohio can do at all. You can see he started with Boots, but with Orb of Venom, this is a really strong item. Mattelman will dominate this lane. Playing this matchup on multiple occasions as the Underlord, I can tell you this is not a fun lane. What you end up having to do is just cut the creep waves and just like pick up banner runes and stuff like that and hope for the best. So now in the mid lane, at level 2, GH and Miracle get significantly stronger. Notice that they've set up a double wave, and what they also want to do is sync their denies. See, notice that they're denying all these range creeps. Will they get this one? No. Kyo will use his Scream of Pain. I don't know if I forgot the name of the ability for a second there. And Miracle and Io will be able to deny these range creeps if they sync it like that. They got 2 denies under the tower, and this is huge. It's a huge experience swing, and this is a huge part of being able to dominate a lane like this. You cannot underestimate the range creep denies here. And Miracle getting another one here. And now, as you can tell, like, I'm not a fan of the Queen of Pain pick for this reason. She's gonna just get dominated in this lane. There's not much she can do, because she's really weak in the early levels, actually. Like, she doesn't do much. Level 1 Queen of Pain is lackluster. Sure, Shadow Strike will be annoying for GH and Miracle, but she can only toss it onto one, and the other one can just heal up. And even then, like, she tosses onto Io, he can just sit back for a little bit, and he heals all that damage back up while Miracle is free farm.
Oh man, they just got some of that first blood going.
And now you can see level 3 Morphling, and they'll just even push Kiwo back, forcing the blink, and in the bottom lane, Mattelman just gets a solo kill. So the lanes are set up for Liquid to win pretty much every single one except for this top lane. The Troll Warlord matchup against the Nature's Prophet is pretty good for the Troll. He's going to be slightly annoyed by Nature's Prophet in early levels, but later on he'll be able to dominate this lane pretty much. The main reason behind that is because he's relatively good armor hero, 3 armor, as a poor man's as well, switches between ranged and melee, so he can start hitting the creeps melee and then maybe bash them. By creeps I mean the tree ants, and then he can just jortle them down and eventually take them out. Once he gets points into fervor as well, he'll get increased attack speed and just be able to kill them on range form as they try to retreat. In addition, he has whirling axes, so like if the tree ants try to come in, he will just spin to win and avoid a lot of the extra harass damage. So at this point, like if I was Fnatic, I'm looking at this game and the laning stage right now. My job or my plan would be to get this disruptor to level 6 as fast as possible. There's not much that can be done in this early game. Again, you don't want to try to fight into an IO in terms of going for like any type of crazy ganks, and they don't have the heroes to do it either. Again, I mentioned with the Clockwork, he actually is worthless this game. He can't do anything. He's annoying for the Ursa, and that's it. Later on, he can try to catch a Nature's Prophet, but I actually see Nature's Prophet going to ganking build this game, as we saw in one of the games against IGV, where he just went for the Orchid. His job is not to split push, his job is to set up the ganks and look for kills. And Underlord, he's also just going to be farming up. Again, this is what I really like to see at TA. She would actually do a lot better in this lane, because she would avoid a lot of the auto attack harass from Miracle and GH. Not too much, as if they time it together, they can burn through refraction charges relatively fast, but TA here would have done better than Queen of Pain in my opinion. In addition, she has the option to go back and jungle relatively fast, where the Queen of Pain doesn't really have that option. And with the Clockwork, their only option is to actually try to get a kill, but it's not happening on GH and Miracle. It's simply not, unless they mess up. And one thing to note, I did mention in my analysis of this replay from GH's IO perspective, is that he always buys a salve and sometimes clarities as well. So even without getting the rune, he just manages to sustain this lane in a way that makes it impossible for the enemy team to play aggressive. Miracle will always be at high HP pretty much. I mean, Miracle has a salve of his own here, and he's probably just going to use it onto GH, or they're going to shrine. So they're low at this point, but they know that they have the shrine available. It is 5 minutes, and they're going to shrine and get to full HP. And it's incredibly hard to deal with these heroes when they're going to be just full HP and mana all the times, and then have backup regen in addition to that. So mid lane is pretty much a loss for Fnatic. There's absolutely nothing they can do just because of the picks. And now at this point, their only kill potential is mind control. He's actually the only hero they can kill safely, because let's say they try to go for Matama Man, he has his ultimate now. Io has a TP scroll. Actually doesn't have a TP scroll. It should be Flyington. Oh, he doesn't care. Matama Man is just that confident. Doesn't need the help. And actually, yeah, Matama Man decides to TP really early, and then he leaves the bottom. Completely leaves the bottom. So yeah, Matama Man would have been at risk if the Io didn't have a TP, but if he's planning on TPing to fight this early, I mean, he's not going to get ganked if he's not in the bottom lane, right? Usually, you see Matama Man stay like on his own island here for a longer time, especially on heroes like Lone Druid and stuff like that. But on Ursa, with the lineup that they have, he can fight. And as you see, he just TPs to the shrine, gets the kill there, and then he starts just running at heroes. And Troll Warlord correctly realizes this and goes bottom. What actually happened mid? Oh, looks like Kyo got a nice gank off. Yeah, and this is why Queen of Pain can be good against Morph, but this is kind of a misplay from Miracle. He underestimated the burst damage from Queen of Pain. If he just morphed a little bit more strength, that wouldn't have happened, and he could have gotten his wand off and leave for him.
Oh man!
And this is one thing that Liquid does in this game that's very interesting, is they give away their bottom tower. Notice that Ursa just TP'd to the top shrine, and he doesn't ever go back down here. They give this tower away completely. I think Kuroki will die here, trying to stall this bottom lane push. He does stall it for a little bit, I would say. It does some damage to the heroes, but bottom tower will fall. But this is one thing that Liquid do not care about, is this bottom tower. They want to get control of the Rosh Pit area as early as possible. Like right now, where actually Matama Man will fly out of Morbid Mass just so that he can start working on Rosh. And if they trade a bottom tower for the first Rosh, it's going to be a fair trade, especially for...
Oh boy, Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Not a fair trade, it's a favorable trade for Liquid, I mean.
Oh, Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But it turns out to be a fair trade because you'll see what happens. Right now, at the same time though, Miracle and GH take the mid tower. This is something I mentioned during the drafting phase, where Morphling can take the towers real fast. And so Matama Man does get scouted out in the Rosh Pit here. Febby runs in, gets a nice cogs. And in this scenario, Clockwork isn't that bad, because he's going to be able to run away, create a lot of space here, and he'll delay Roshan long enough for his team to be able to finish off the bottom tower and then go and fight. Meanwhile, in the top lane though, Mind Control putting pressure on this top tier 1, and notice his item build, he is going for the ganking build. You can see the difference between Mind Control's item builds when he wants to be the split pusher or the early pusher, and when he wants to just go for some ganking potential with his team, and instead of going for like drums or like a casual Blightstone or anything like that, he's rushing straight into an Orchid with a wand, just so that he's not entirely useless while he's getting all his gold up to finish the Orchid and Malevolence. He'll have a wand just to give him some extra stats and survivability. And notice who they send to the bottom lane after the tower has died. At this point, GH will switch targets that he's going to group up with. He's going to go with the Hellman to finish up this Rosh, or they're going to send Miracle, most likely the most survivable hero on their team at this point, to defend against the push, because they don't want to take too much damage in their tier 2. I would say they mind losing this tier 2, but they don't want to lose it too early. And of course, there's also extra farm for Miracle, because he doesn't really want to farm right here next to the tier 2 like that. And as you see, they take a fight. Nice Aegis steal from Kiro. Huge. That snatch definitely definitely a game changer. If Liquid could have gone that first Roshan
Dire's
and the
top tower's
Aegis,
under
it
attack.
would have been a huge advantage, and you can see this game end really fast, actually, potentially.
Ooh,
But
Dire,
it's
you
a
gotta
good fight from
fortify them there
Fnatic. They
structures. Good
lose
work.
the Io,
Dire's
they
top
lose
tower's
Ursa,
under
but they
attack.
got the gold from it, and this whole time it's space for Miracle. He's getting his farm up, and notice his item build right now. He's going for the fighting build. He doesn't really care about split pushing this game. He will be split pushing to a certain extent, but he wants to be able to fight with his team. Io and Witch Doctor is so much sustained for a hero like Morphling that's relatively low HP. They can always top him off pretty much, and he can just man up and fight against a lot of these heroes that don't really have much of an answer to him. Queen of Pain is relatively squishy. If there's a Morphling hitting her, and after she blinks in, she'll die really fast. And Troll Warlord has a better chance of lasting against the Morph, of course, because they'll have the Whirling Axes. That mischance will be annoying, but they usually can just save the Troll for later, or either that isolate him, silence him up, and kill him, trap him in the trees as well. So at this point, notice that Liquid have taken one tower mid already. This has opened up a lot of space for them in the Rosh pit area. So come later in the game, this is going to be a huge advantage, because normally Underlord can sit mid and defend this tower relatively safely once he gets a little bit of farm, but the fact that they took the tower so early like this, they're able to just open up this area where they have more space to play around come time to Rosh. And now Miracle forced a bunch of heroes bottom, which will open up space for mind control, and Liquid is just playing the split push rat game right now. They'll send heroes to multiple lanes. They have survival heroes. They don't really have good ganking potential, right? So that's not going to be the way they take team fights. The way they're going to fight against Fnatic is to split them up and then catch them off guard when they're rotating, either like rotating to defend a lane, TPing in, or trying to go for a gank and then IO coming in with a save or something like that. That's pretty much how they're going to approach these fights. So it seems like Miracle will actually go back into a Lincoln Sphere. I wonder if he's going to commit to this. I think Diffusal Blade build I've seen from Arteezy would have been the better build here in this game, but I can see the Lincoln Sphere. It'll keep him alive against the Disruptor, and Misstep. This is really nice play from Tumble Man. He sneaks in the trees and then cuts off the Queen of Pain's escape path here. She doesn't want to blink forward because she doesn't know, like, they can come in with a relocate, they can Witch Doctor there or something like that. And it's a really good play combined with the Nature's Wrath and the Enrage. They'll get an easy kill there. And JH did relocate Miracle up here, but he didn't get the kill, of course. They'll leave Miracle so that he can help finish the tower, and JH will just sit in the bottom lane and get this experience going in. Because now Troll Warlord, who's a little bit low, doesn't feel comfortable about committing for this tower now. As Atonement Man does have a TP, and Mind Control has a TP soon as well. Miracle even has a TP because he was relocated up here. So at this point, with a nice and easy gank from Atonement Man, they can set up a kill and get another tower for their team. That's 2 towers now, and this is going to snowball into a pretty big advantage. Again, they don't have heroes to fight directly into Fnatic, but notice that Liquid aren't even trying. This is how they play IO. They have a really good understanding of how to utilize the hero, split the enemy team up, and make use of opportunities, such as in the top lane there, where Tumble Man found that kill onto Queen of Pain and capitalized on them. And it just fits with their playstyle, because again, what I said that Liquid was good at is being able to take a good engagement or a good fight, a good trade, and then transition it into winning the game. So IO is really good at doing that in terms of capitalizing on enemy team's mistakes or positional errors, and then capitalizing on that as well. With the relocate ability, you can move across the map instantly anywhere, so it just allows you to punish enemy teams so hard for mistakes anytime they get caught out or lose a hero, get out of position, anything like that. Don't get caught without a TP. So this hero fits incredibly well with Liquid's playstyle, in addition to it being GH's best hero, I would say, in the meta right now. As you saw at the main event, no team allowed the IO to go through. No team. They allowed the Kato to go through, they allowed the Earthshaker to go through, but IO is a completely different story because he's a cheese support hero. It allows you to play the game in a way that no other support allows you to, and as a result, any team has to play in a particular way change their playstyle based on the IO. It's like normally this Queen of Pain can like split fairly well, like she can go out and feel confident just pushing out the waves as long as she has eyes on a number of heroes. But now they can like show the Morphling bottom, for example. Morphling can be top and killing her at any time. And as I say that, Morphling just gets the kill there, and we'll analyze this engagement actually, because this is huge what happened there. So notice there's a bunch of heroes in the bottom lane, and they relocate Miracle to the mid lane. They don't get a kill there onto the Clockwork. However, again, GH leaves Miracle here. He goes to the bottom lane. So this is something that's really smart from Liquid. They realize, alright, there's nothing for Miracle in the bottom lane here. There's so many heroes down here. If he stays, he'll most likely die. So let's just force heroes top. They get a jump there onto the Underlord. This is just mind control and a Common Man. Underlord was up here alone. He's like, alright, I'm pretty confident. I have a force staff, so I should be able to get out of any scenario. However, Mattel Man coming in with the Gold Dagger, he's gonna die. Now heroes are TPing one at a time, and this is when Liquid smells blood. They're like, this is our time to go. We know that they're split up. When they have to come in, they have to come in one at a time. Well, we're all here already. So now QO is going in, and this is just one by one chain feeding. And Fnatic probably, they're just lost at this point, because they don't know what else they can do, right? At that point, they can choose to lose their Underlord and that's it, but if they lose their Underlord, this tower is falling. Because they're not going to be able to fight 5v1. Unfortunately, GH ends up dying in the bottom lane, but instead they support into more heroes just to try to salvage the fight, but then they'll end up losing more, so the ideal play there was to just lose the Underlord, then lose the tower. I mean, that doesn't feel good either, so it was almost a lose-lose, and instead of losing a little bit, they lost a lot just because they wanted to avoid losing at all, which is what tends to happen when you play against a IO lineup. It really splits you up, and you have the option to just sit back and watch your towers and your map control get taken away from you, because every time they lose a tower, it's significant, because that's less potential for them to come in and help their teammates, because now the global lineup with IO and the Ninja's Prophets, they got two global heroes who will just be able to dominate them. And notice, they can feel it already as the Troll Ruler, who is pushing the bottom lane, got the kill there on the GH, which just reported on by Mind Control. There comes out the Orchid and the relocate, and it's going to be an easy kill. Now Fnatic, I would say they're falling apart completely. Next, Roshan can be Liquid's time to just end the game. Again, Queen of Pain's not going to do anything. She's so far away from her Orchid. Even when she gets it, I don't think it's going to be meaningful. Witch Doctor almost has 4 points in Voodoo Restoration. They have insane amounts to sustain. The IO is not going to die in these fights. If he gets gone on, I would say that the Morphling, Ursa, and Nurture's Prophet have enough damage that they can just kill everybody. And then even then, they'll still have Kuroki. Underlord is rendered absolutely useless in this game. I don't recommend picking like weak offlaners like this that can be countered with a single matchup unless they already see the matchup that they'll have against Team Liquid, because of this reason. Is if you give Mattel Man a good game, he's going to abuse you, as you see in this game with the Ursa right now. He got another solo kill there onto the Underlord, and same thing with Mind Control. Mind Control didn't have the best lane in the world, but he has come back pretty well. He doesn't have any deaths, and he's done a good job of setting up ganks and participating in team fights for his team this game. And of course, Miracle is getting incredibly farmed. He'll have his Lincolns now flying out to him, and that will just only do one thing pretty much. He'll help him out when the Queen of Pain has the Orchid, and also protect him from the Witch Doctor glimpse into Static Storm, which will put less pressure off of GH to try to relocate out of the Static Storm or anything like that. He can save his relocate for even an aggressive play. Notice Fnatic's warding it. They know that they can't allow Liquid to have any vision in their jungle, otherwise they can't farm anywhere. So there's just sentries lacing this place, but at this point, the smoke will just come in from Liquid, and they'll still find the kill regardless. And this is something that's really good that Liquid does, is that they like to camp on these high grounds. They don't commit to their smoke all the way in. They kind of smoke in, camp at a spot, and then wait for heroes to walk up. They don't commit too deep for the smoke, which is one thing that's good. Is if you do that, sometimes you can find yourself running into a mid team that's 5, and they'll be prepared, and they're going to potentially turn the fight. But if they wait like that, the enemy team is still unprepared, right? They're usually gonna walk up. If any hero does run into them, it's usually just gonna be one hero trying to reposition, move with their team. We saw it multiple times where they did it in the IGV game where they camped in this area instead of walking up to here. This similar scenario, they just cut up this high ground. They don't care about the shrine, because as long as they know that Fnatic's not already here, they're not even gonna be able to walk to their shrine and die. And now it's gonna be a full team fight, and this game is pretty much over at this point. There's not much that Fnatic can do. They're way too far behind, and if they can't defend the next Aegis, which I don't think they can, because a lot of heroes are dead, and Roshan is spawning in a minute. I guess they'll be able to respawn in time, but they've already lost this tower, and they've lost so much map control, and they can potentially even just go high ground here without the Aegis. Yeah, I think they just lose their axe here, I believe, and then the game's over. Yeah, they don't even wait for the next Aegis, they're that far ahead. Yeah, again, with the level 4 Voodoo Restoration and the IO can turn games real fast. And notice that GH still has salves. He has 2 salves, actually, and this will just help them sustain. They can just forever go in and dive, tank as much damage as necessary, and IO will just act as a pretty much mobile fountain for them. And they're looking to go in again here, camping on the high ground again, waiting for any hero that potentially will walk up. Nature's Prophet, TP's top, just push the wave in. He'll also draw some heroes' attention like this, but at the same time, Miracle is pushing bottom. So they've done a good job of split pushing. Again, notice Matoma Man didn't commit to anything. He just wanted to wait here in case a hero does walk up. Bottom lane, Miracle will push in. He does go for the more standard build this game, which I think is fine because he has the farm to do so. And he doesn't need to go with the full-on fighting build. Lincoln's will help him pretty much be immortal, because again, I mentioned that the way he's going to die is glimpse into Static Storm or just Static Storm in general. But with this, he's not going to die, gives him some extra stats to work with. And with the E-Blade, he'll just insta-burst these heroes. Like Troll is not having a BKB anytime soon. Queen of Pain's not having a BKB anytime soon. None of these heroes will. And Underlord as well will just tank a ton of damage, even though he's going for a pipe to be prepared, but it's not gonna help out if he didn't have the pipe or anywhere close to it yet. Still needs a decent amount of gold. And at this point, we see Liquid set up another gank here. Who will they find? Find some heroes that will TP out and actually get away. Fnatic dodged a bullet there, but I still don't think it's enough at this point. Yeah, next Roshan will happen. I thought they were just going to end straight mid, but they'll wait for it. There's no reason not to, as this is just so much more fighting potential, and they'll give the Aegis to Miracle for sure, as he's already heading there right now. And IO can hold the cheese or versa, because I don't think they need IO to hold the cheese. And they're making sure no Roshan steal shenanigans happen. Spur out this revision, make sure they don't get hook shotted. Aegis will go to Miracle, and as I said, we'll just end the game with this. He'll walk mid, hold the tower, they have no answer to him. If they blow their Static Storm to kill him once, he'll respawn and just kill them. Even then, IO still has the option to relocate out, and the game is over. So, where Fnatic lost this game, I would say, isn't definitely in the drafting stage, and this Queen of Pain. She hasn't done anything in this game. She lost laning stage against the IO and the Morphling. She got 1 kill there onto Miracle, which is nice, but that didn't advance their game, right? That helped him get a little bit ahead, but he was already behind because of how they were laning. Like, he was so far behind in terms of experience, they were denying range creeps, and at that point, there's not much he can do, right? Because he can't play aggressive against the lineup that Liquid has. When they give Liquid or Fnatic the opportunity to go on them, it's always a bait, right? Other than that, they'll just split the map, and in terms of just pick-off potential, solo, Queen of Pain doesn't have that much without her ultimate until she gets the work in. But that's gonna be a long time, as he only just picked it up like a couple minutes ago. So what this hero does for them is she can survive the laning stage. Like, I'm not saying she's just completely trashed by Morphling and IO. She got definitely beat by them in lane significantly, and even though she came back with a kill, it didn't really matter much for her, because she still is on the losing side, because she's never going to kill Morphling after that, as long as she's playing properly. Even the kill that she got was a mistake on Miracul's part. Now at this rate, defending high ground against these heroes wouldn't be able to do anything. She's really squishy, she'll just get blown up, as you see there. Probably just called GG right now, I believe, as none of these heroes have buyback. She will be called. Morphling doesn't even lose the Aegis, and they take the Rax. Game is over. So again, a lot of it had to do with the last pick, Queen of Pain. Fnatic had the last pick, but they didn't choose the best hero in the world to do so. Matchup against the IO Morphling, the IO strat in general. I've definitely seen this hero just get dumpstered by Liquid, right? She's really vulnerable in that scenarios because what does Queen of Pain do well? Normally, she will win the mid lane against certain heroes, right? She'll dominate the mid lane and then she'll go ahead and play aggressive, look for ganks, be very active on the map. But you can't do that against an IO because, again, IO is going to be able to respond to everything you do, and at the same time, the IO lineup wants to play aggressively against you on certain parts of the map, and it splits the Queen of Pain up, and she doesn't farm very fast. How you usually want to deal with an IO is just to farm real fast because IO is not that good at invading early and playing aggressive. They're really good at responding to your aggression as long as all their players position properly. The IO doesn't get bursted early on in the fight. They'll be able to come in with a tether, heal, and of course, the way GH plays as well with the Salve and Kuroki with the Voodoo Restoration, they'll heal up. Matama Man, again, a hero that will do a ton of damage, which will hurt a hero like Queen of Pain that's super squishy, right? You notice multiple times in this game where she just kind of blinked in and got bursted, which is a huge problem for them. And then Troll Warlord doesn't come online until pretty far on later on the game, until he gets like or not one, like 2 or 3 items at least, right? He needs that Vlad's +1 or Mask of Madness +1, and then BKB. Because in this game, like, he has to deal with the Morphling, the silence from mind control, the cast gets really annoying for him as well, and then Ursa, if he ever gets on top of the troll after he's already used his silence, will be deadly. And I think Ajit probably had the least deaths in this game, I'm pretty sure, or he was tied for the least with the clockwork. But again, the clockwork is absolutely useless in this game either. I mean, he hookshot somebody, hookshots Ursa. Ursa's gonna kill him. Hookshots Nature's Prophet. Potentially a relocate comes in, but mind control also made sure that he knew that he was the only one who was actually gonna die to the clockwork. Positioned himself in ways that he never had the opportunity to get caught by Febby at all, or Kiwo, or anybody. So he positioned really well. He made sure that his job this game was not to split push the lanes unless he had the safe and true opportunity to. Other than that, he just played it safe, made sure that he was able to set up good team fights, good ganks for his team, and that is it. That is his role this game. And Miracle is going to be the split pusher, but again, Clockwork hooks the Miracle, Morphling, and he doesn't care. He either mans up on him, which most of the time he can, especially with the IO next to him, and then he'll just waveform out of the cogs or waveform in and kill the Clockwork. So with this first pick Clock, we can definitely see where the hero has fallen out of the meta, with how the meta has shifted. Um, a lot of times he's not enough in the early laning stage because he was really strong when teams were just literally just like 2v2ing mid, and then Clockwork is a pretty good hero to do that. But then heroes like Night Stalker got more popular, and IO started being picked by teams. IO is really good against Clockwork, in my opinion. You hook shot onto somebody or you cog somebody, he just tethers in, heals them. If you cog the IO, of course, or try to battery assault on the IO, he'll always have the tether away. There's not much that you can do there, and this Clockwork just felt super underwhelming, and Disruptor as well. In theory, he used a counter to heroes like Nature's Prophet, right, and the Morphling, and the IO, as you can relocate heroes back, but he was never in the right position because it was really hard to position against Liquid. When you're playing against heroes that have global mobility, and every time that you want to be in the right position, you have to actually walk up and get grouped up together, either using a TP scroll or actually committing some type of resource, either your time or money, to be able to stay together in a group that will be able to fight against Liquid, is incredibly difficult when you look at Liquid, where Mind Control could be wherever he wants because he's a global TP. GH and Miracle can be wherever they want, pretty much, as long as they have to relocate. They can't bring both of them there, but they can leave Miracle there, and that paid off multiple times this game, where you notice that GH TP'd Miracle to an engagement that didn't really work out in terms of getting a kill or anything for Miracle, but they were able to reposition Miracle without having him to use a TP scroll, and in addition, he was deeper into the map already than having to TP to a shrine or a tower or something like that. And as a result, they were just able to move in and strike when Fnatic weren't ready. And this is something that is really powerful that an IO lineup can do, and it's what won them the game pretty much. So this is a shorter game. The analysis was a little bit shorter, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you leave a like if you found this information useful, you like this analysis, and if you want to see more of this, again, I'm doing every single game that Team Liquid played at TI throughout the group stages and the main event. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this. And again, the analysis are only gonna get better and better as I watch more and more Liquid games. I'll get more familiarized with their playstyle, and I'll be able to comment on a lot more things. And again, the series is called How to Beat Liquid, so I'm trying to figure out a way, but I don't actually see a way to beat their IO other than not give them to Liquid. And I think a lot of teams had that strategy as well. As we saw in the main event, no team allowed Liquid to get the IO as a pick. So that's going to be it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.